Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. This isn't Steve, obviously, it's Becky Brown, and I am your host today along with Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Jill Hubbard in California.
Yay, we're having a girls' day.
We are having a girls' day.
And we've missed Becky, and I bet you folks have too.
You're so kind, Alice. I was just talking to them before we started about, how much the mental health care has become normalized in this pandemic. It's weird because as mental health professionals, you guys know, we realize that people need help. We help people and people ask us for help, and we have been witness to some really difficult things in people's lives. But for the most part, when people find out that I'm a counselor, or maybe you guys have this experience, they're like, oh, well, maybe all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to talk to you because I don't want you to know what's going on in my head.
Are you analyzing me?
Exactly. Well, we can't help it. So, But
I always say, no, you're not paying me.
Exactly. That's a good comeback, Jill. But I've been so aware. The other day we were at a restaurant because I'm in Ohio and we can eat in restaurants in Ohio.
Yes, very envious.
Yes, and the Clippers game was on, and you know how they have a ticker at the bottom of the screen that has all the updates and the scores and who's playing what. Well, in that ticker there was a PSA, public service announcement that said, "Do you need help? Are you struggling? Call." And they had a number for mental health care. And I thought, wow. I mean, usually sports are like the distraction, the thing that, we're watching this so that we're not thinking about anything else that's going on in our life. And I thought, way to go, NBA, helping people out to recognize there is a need. And actually heard a statistic that one of our major healthcare providers or insurance companies in the United States reported a 600% increase in mental health referrals in the last quarter of 2020.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And so you all know, we've known that people have been struggling.
We hear it every day.
We do. We hear it every single day. But we also know so many more people that are struggling in silence. And, I would say to the listener, we tell you all the time, call us. We can help you. And many times you're thinking about it. You're thinking, well, they might be able to help me, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't share what's going on in my life. And it's a hard message to get across that it's really okay to share about what's going on in your life.
Right.
Have you guys ever had that struggle with folks that you've been, that have either come into the office, they made the step to come into the office, but then it's like, okay, I can't go the next step. Have you guys had that experience at all?
Absolutely, both personally and with the folks that I see. And I even had to convert to the idea that we're actually all broken and we all need help. Because even early in my career, I thought, those folks need help. I don't think that I do. I think I'm doing just fine. And it really wasn't until New Life, until I came to understand
the blinders of youth.
I need it too. We all need it. And I know what we've been going through this past year. It is both exacerbating our problems. It's causing new problems, but it's also revealing what has already been there. The depression, the anxiety, the family conflict that we all go through anyhow.
And life is such a balance, right? And when it gets skewed, like it has been this past year, things go awry. And
if you have a question that you'll call us today, we're taking calls 1-800-229-3000. And I just want to remind you, even though we're not Jesus, he says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I'll give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me." And I think that's what we do here is we'll listen to what you have to say. We'll give you some insight and direction. And who knows, 2021 could be the best year yet. We'll be right back. Give us a call.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop will be held online Saturday, February 13th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Milan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship, and then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or go to newlife.com.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. It's Becky Brown with Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Jill Hubbard. We're taking your calls today, 1-800-229-3000. And if you're one of our YouTube viewers, thank you so much. That's usually where I watch if I'm in the office. And you can also watch us there. If you go to YouTube and go to New Life Live, you'll find us. We've got all kinds of shows on our New Life Ministries channel there. And it's a great way to share and subscribe and leave a comment. We would love to be able to connect with you and for you to connect us with others. But right now we're going to connect to our caller today, who is Betty, calling us from Dallas, Texas, and she's calling from KWRD, one of our favorite stations. Betty, thanks for calling. How can we help you today?
Yes, I am in the process of trying to leave my husband, who is abusive, mentally and emotionally abusive, and very controlling, and I am looking for resources for help, for a free lawyer or any kind of financial assistance I can get. I'm on disability. I'm 57. We have no children in the home. We've been married 8 years, and I'm not on any of his accounts. So the only money I get is my disability money, and that's it.
Okay. Jill or Alice, where do you want to start?
Betty, would you tell us some of the, well, first, we want to acknowledge you're in a very difficult spot right now. What a letdown, what a disillusionment and disappointment that your husband has been abusive and now you have to find shelter and provision elsewhere. This is upside down and it's not supposed to be this way. So we're really glad that you're calling.
After 8 years. I mean, this sounds like this was a second marriage, Betty.
Yes.
Yeah. And so there's always, so much hope, and I'm going to do it differently this time, right? And it's going to be better. And then to have it break down so quickly is very sad.
And Betty, as you've started to plan, where have you reached out to help, to get help? What have you been doing?
I went to see a lawyer because in the state of Texas, you have to reside in the county you live in 3 months before you can file for divorce. So I went and spoke to a lawyer. I could only find one that did free consultation, and he said he had a payment plan that he would work out with me, and the payment plan was half up front and half in 30 days, and that would take almost all of my disability check. And I said, I can't do that. So I haven't, because of the holidays and with my husband having major surgery, I'm still living at the house. And my daughter was going to let me stay with her, but she's a nurse and in the ER, and because of my health conditions, she felt like it wasn't safe for me to be around her right now because of COVID. But so I'm trying to find a lawyer that I can talk to for free. And also I have called about housing assistance for the area I want to move to.
Well, Betty,
back to the city.
Betty, let me interject here. So it sounds like there's a lot of just sort of groundwork that you're trying to establish. And yet you're still in the home with him, correct?
Yeah.
And so you mentioned abuse. Is there still a threat for you at this point?
His temper, he goes off in rages, and the last rage was about a year ago. He punched the wall for something I said. He's never hit me, but it's more of a mental issue and a control thing. He doesn't like what I say, so I just keep my mouth shut so I don't, so things don't escalate, because he's a big man and I'm a little woman, and I'm scared of him. I really am.
Have there been any interventions to get help for this marriage, Betty? I mean, you married him not saying, I want to marry someone who's emotionally abusive. You married him with great hope.
Yes, I did not know he was like this when we married, and probably a couple of years into the marriage, we started having big issues, and we went to a marriage counselor, and he went once or twice, and we refused to go back, and did not do what the counselor told us to do anyway. He wouldn't, he wasn't going to. His thing is, he knows he's right, he's always right, and he's not going to listen to anybody else, and that's it.
So here's what I'm thinking, and Jill, Alice, you guys can agree, disagree, but I think there has to be an establishment for your help, Betty. I think your focus on the divorce and the legal aspect, while important, I think because you're running into these roadblocks, there's got to be something in between so that as you go through this process, you have support. And I know there are a lot of domestic violence helps out there, even though I know he's not hitting you. Listen, words can be almost worse than a hit. I know, it's so hard to live in that kind of environment. But Jill and Alice, do you see where I'm going with that? That there would be some sort of an established connection with people who can help, that maybe know a lawyer or know some sort of public assistance that can help you along this way.
Right. I think there's graduated steps, Betty, and you've got a lot of ideas of things that you want to do, which is good that you are thinking. I think first thing I would do is just to establish, is he willing to do anything for the marriage, to change things? Because what works for him is not working for you.
Right.
That's question number one. Then number two, you have to find a way to live separate. That's the next step, right? And so, your idea, Becky, of a domestic violence shelter, that's something for free. Because when you're asking for free services, those are limited.
Right.
So it's tapping, okay, your daughter, I don't know if she's saying it's unsafe. Is there any way for her to be, you guys to be completely separate in the same home and her to take extra precautions? Is there another friend or family member that you could live with? Think about all of your contacts, right? Then are you part of a local church? Is there anybody that, would take you in for a period of time or pay minimal rent? And then, or a domestic violence shelter. So those are some things where you have to get separate, because that's a wake-up call to him as well.
That's right.
And if he doesn't know that you're at this extreme position of it's over for you, he really should be told that. And you might be surprised of the effect that it has on him, even though he quit counseling before. It might light a fire in him as a last-ditch effort.
Usually men.
I don't think so, because he drinks. He's a heavy drinker.
But Betty, have you told him?
Debt, and he pays the debt off, but
Betty,
then he'll get us right back into debt.
Betty, have you told him that you're leaving?
No. Oh, no. I'm not telling him anything until I leave, because I'm afraid. I'm afraid of his temper. I took him to the hospital for a procedure, and he's gotten into road rage fights on the highway with people, and he tried to get out of my car and was going to go.
Well, you're telling us too he's an alcoholic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
he started drinking heavily.
Is there anybody in his world that could help intervene in that?
His family knows he drinks, but all they say is he's a functioning alcoholic, and that's all they're willing to say about it. They don't.
Do they know how bad it is for you?
I've told a few of his family members.
Okay.
I'm close to his daughters, but they live out of state, and I want to tell them, but I don't know how to tell them. I don't know what to say.
Betty, I think you need to get needy, and you need to let more of the people in your circle who are safe and who care for you know your position. Your daughter shouldn't be the only one. I think about James 4:2-3, where we're told we don't receive because we don't ask. So you need to send up the flag to the people that are safe, that I need a place to go. But I really recommend, Betty, that once you're out of the home, even if it's temporary, I think your husband needs to know and needs to hear once you have that safe distance.
Right.
Because that truth may change something for him. It may not, but I do think you have an obligation to express that to him. I also want to point you to CODA meetings, which is free, group supports.
That would be great.
And also the Salvation Army is a terrific organization, and it offers a place to stay. It offers work to do and a lot of group help and counseling there within the organization. So call as well.
Thanks, Alice. Betty, we're going to send you a copy of Take Your Life Back. And there are so many other steps that have to be in place before we end a relationship. And it feels like sometimes we get up against these walls. And that's like what you're saying, Alice, talking to other people, not just the people who are in your circle, but help, of all kinds. We have life recovery groups that you can be involved with, and none of that costs anything. It's just a matter of representing yourself, and it's so important. We talk about not suffering in silence. It's very important, Betty, and we'll be praying for you, and we're going to send that your way. Next caller, we're going to talk to Kathy, who's calling us from Indianapolis, and she listens on Pure Life, and we're so glad you called. Kathy, how can we help you today? Are you there, Kathy?
Hello?
Well, hello. Hi, Kathy. You're on. How can we help you today?
Hi. Thank you guys so much for taking my call. This is a wonderful, wonderful program.
Thank you. How can we help you, Kathy?
You're welcome. Thank you for asking. I am at my wit's end, and I don't with my husband. And I really don't know where to turn at this point. I don't know whether I should get a legal separation or just go straight for a divorce. And I'll share a little what's going on. He definitely is a narcissist, and he does not. I cannot get him, and this has been going on for about 12 years. Can I get him to really communicate with me about anything? He takes his money and he hides his money and he wastes his money, and I cannot get him to be as one. He just go through the point to where he likes to sit in the dark, and if anything is going on with him, he will not just open up to me and just share what's going on. He just likes sitting in the dark and says something is on his mind and don't want to share that. He refuses to be intimate, and once again, it's been about 12 or 13 years.
Kathy, how hurtful, Kathy, how hurtful and crazy making for you that you can't get your husband to talk to you. What do you think his secret addictive behavior is?
That I don't know, because he's not talking. So,
what do you suspect? Do you suspect pornography use or alcohol, substance use?
He's not an alcoholic. He is an extreme smoker, not the drugs, but cigarettes. And that's another thing. He's in bad health, and a doctor's been talking to him about that, and he will not correct his diet. He just constantly smoked. Then he quit there for a little bit.
Kathy,
because of some health reasons.
Even though this is a scary question, what do you think about pornography use?
You know what? Maybe so, because I've been processing that and trying to think about when we were dating. I remember when I was dating, and when I began to go to his home to date, to see him, he had this big bag of something, and I asked him what it was, and he said, it don't matter, don't worry about it, he's just getting rid of it. And it sounds like a bunch of what are those, not the 8-tracks, the CDs, the
DVDs.
It sounds like the tape. Yes. I can hear the rattle of the bag. So I do believe that's what it was.
There's been secrecy for a long time, ever since you've known him.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Have you been married longer than 12 years?
I've been married 20 years.
Okay, so it wasn't always like this. And what happened?
Maybe on the surface,
but underneath it was. Because I'm wondering, did something happen 12 years ago that kind of changed the course of things for him?
The only thing that I would think that happened, maybe, when I really began to see that he's
hold that thought, Kathy.
Hold that.
Kathy, hold that thought. We're going to take a break. You can hear the music, and we're going to come back. We're still taking calls at 1-800-229-3000. It's really hard to be connected to a spouse that won't talk to you, and we feel your pain, Kathy. We're gonna help you when we get back. If you know, it's interesting because you'd think that marriage is this blissful state, yet we hear so many different versions of it. But there is hope and there's help for a better connection, and that's what we're going to help you with, Kathy, when we get back.
After I found the pornography on the internet, I said, you either get help or I have to leave this household.
Every day, thousands of women discover their husband is struggling with sexual integrity. And since shelter-in-place orders have gone into effect, traffic to porn sites has skyrocketed. New Life's Every Man's Battle workshop can help.
Every Man's Battle, I fought it the whole week with my wife within 2 hours. You could have opened a book. It showed me where my life has been ever since I was a little boy.
The Every Man's Battle workshop can be a trip to the sexual addiction emergency room. During this time of social distancing, the Every Man's Battle workshop will be held online Saturday, January 9th. Find sexual integrity, accountability, and connection. Register now to reserve a place at the Every Man's Battle online workshop. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
He said, this may have saved my life.
Every Man's Battle was a life-changing experience for me and a marriage-saving experience for me.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-NEWLIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. We are talking to Kathy, and by we, I'm saying Dr. Alice Benton and Dr. Jill Hubbard and myself, Becky Brown. And Kathy, we want to help you. Jill or Alice, who do you?
Well, we were trying to see, Kathy, that you've been married 20 years. Certainly, there's some things that have been enduring throughout that time, but it seems like you've really made a point of saying the last 12 years is really when he shut down. And so I'm wondering if something occurred at that time in his life.
Well, that's what I've been trying to battle with myself, but I know last year he had a medical issue to where it was near death experience. And when he came up out of that, he was in that for about 3 months. So when he came out of that and got better and came home, that's when I seen the worst of it. It was horrible. When he got better, he was accusing me the whole time he was in the hospital, which is not true, that I stole some money out of his bank account. And
so he's gotten paranoid.
To the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes, and because he's really obsessed with money. He's very obsessed with money. Everything is revolves around money for him. But worse than that, he just will not talk to me, and he I tried to ask him about, go ahead.
It sounds like he's really afraid, and so when we're afraid, control kicks in. And that's, I mean, don't you guys think that's what she's dealing with, is his control is just overwhelming? And it could be the near-death experience. It's not going to help to just keep asking him, because he's just going to lock down more. But
well, and you know, in life, you said he has some narcissistic traits, you believe, you know, so if you're grandiose about life, right, and you have all of these ideals, at a certain point in life, that starts to break down. And somebody with those characteristics has a really hard time with that. That's like intolerable, that they can't realize their dreams. And so that's where you'll see a lot of paranoia kick in, right? And this kind of obsessively holding on to anything that they can.
Well, and even the fact if he does have narcissism or narcissistic qualities, the fact that he almost died is a threat.
Well, aging is a threat to a narcissist, right?
Yes, exactly.
And Kathy, we suspect that
he just lie about.
Yeah, it starts with, it's probably started with his character defects, and that has evolved into some mental health issues, probably depression as well, and paranoia.
Yeah.
And so if you have had a tendency to stay a little quiet, to not, of course, not know what to do and not know how to handle this, what we want to do is empower you to start taking the action you can with what's in your control. And the Bible lays out the steps of what to do in the book of Matthew, where it tells us, first we address it head on, and we do it with grace and truth. That, as Jill was saying earlier, the way we've been these past 12 years, it's not working for me anymore, and I want more than this for both of us. So are you willing to consider to get help with me? And whether he is or not, if you're not, I'm going to get the help, because I want better than this for us. And you start to take action. But the Bible also tells us, bring in a witness, so that another person, preferably a man who has some standing in his life, addresses him as well, that this isn't right, that your family needs better than this. But then, Kathy, no matter what he does, you take the action of getting an appointment with a therapist and strategizing what to do. And all that should happen before the legal separation, and definitely before the divorce, because the action you take may have an effect on him to start changing things.
Well, and I think as women, because we run everything through our primary relationship, we often think that we have to get rid of the relationship in order to then live, or in order to do the things we want to do. And what Alice is suggesting is you start doing the things that you need to do and want to do now before you take those steps towards the relationship. So make your life better first, and then you'll have more clarity as to what to do about the marriage.
And a tough truth is that the Bible gives very narrow permission for biblical divorce, which is abandonment by a spouse and infidelity. And apart from that, God seems to want us to work through it, taking the other steps we can to protect ourselves, but also to call the other person up and out.
That's so true. Thank you both. Thanks, Kathy, for calling. I'm actually going to send her a copy of How We Love, because I think that will give her some insight into the dynamics of the relationship, but also can help her as she continues to heal and grow. And right now we're going to talk to Ann, who's calling us from Potomac, Maryland, and listens on WAVA, another one of our favorite stations. Hi, Ann. I'm so glad you called. How can we help you today?
I've been married for 37 years, going on 38. I have 4 sons, and they all are adult males, obviously. And, they range from about 43 to 27. The oldest has children, the others do not. And we get together. We've always enjoyed family time.
Okay, Ann.
During Thanksgiving. Yes.
Ann, hold on one second. You can hear the music. We're going to go to a break and come right back and answer your question. We're still taking calls at 1-800-229-3000, and we will talk to you, Ann, when we come back. It is always a challenge. Families and marriages, it's, relationships. They're sticky. They're complex, but they're worth working on. And so that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about all kinds of things today, but that seems to be a theme. And so if you have an issue that you'd like to talk to us about, you can call us 1-800-229-3000, and we'll be right back.
of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have Christ-centered partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the new member thank you gift of 7 books, including Conquer Worry and Anxiety by Dr. Daniel Amen, Healing is a Choice by Steve Arterburn, and Forgiving What You'll Never Forget and Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life, both by Dr. Dave Stoop. Plus, there are ongoing benefits like access to the Club New Life video library, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We are talking to Ann, and when we were so rudely interrupted by commercial, but yeah. Ann, it's nothing personal. No. You were telling us that you've been married for about 38 years. You have 4 adult sons, and you get together on the holidays, like typical, right?
Yeah.
So what could be the problem?
Well, we have had some issues, particularly with one son in past Thanksgiving or Christmas holidays, birthday celebrations. There seems to always be something that, he rears when we're all together. So he's developed a bit of a reputation for just getting disgruntled and causing a ruckus. So we actively have joked over time, as they've grown up, everybody says, well, who's going to ruin Christmas this year? And, we do all have senses of humor, but at the same time, there's some significant issues among the dispositions and state of being with a few of the boys.
Okay. And, so what would your question be, Ann? How can we help you today?
So my question is, this Christmas, being COVID and trying to create an event that, met everybody's needs in this situation, there were some not understanding things that we all didn't get. And so there was conflict among everybody. They were storming out. Everybody's not opening their presents from each other, sending them back, acting, and everybody's going in their corner, and everybody is so depressed. My husband, myself, everybody. It's as though the whole family fun fell apart, and it's not going to happen again. Everybody's kind of given up on the whole thing.
And how has it gone when you or your husband have addressed that one son in particular about what always happens?
In the moment, we usually try to call him. Let's see, what would you say? Call him down or off the ledge, We're getting upset, saying, come on, please don't leave, because he does have a tendency to want to leave too when things fall apart for him.
And have you folks been able to address it outside of the event in which it's happening during a time of calm?
To a degree. He does take medication for something of which I do not know because he's a grown man and does not share this with me at this time.
Sure.
But so I don't know exactly what his issues are, but
I think what you're.
But could you guess?
Well, yeah, but I'm thinking the bigger question right now is the family is apart, right? Is that where you guys are right now? Nobody's talking. Like you just had this big explosion go off. And so I'm imagining you're wondering, how do we corral everybody again?
Exactly. I mean, I am the one that pretty much no matter what, people will talk to because I just am a different disposition. Great. And I also am not afraid to talk.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, Anne, I'm kind of imagining, it sounds like this was a pretty big deal, that in the past it's been more one person, this time it was a lot of people, and that it's just indicative of nobody's doing well.
Right, but they tried to react to him and say, you do this every holiday.
Okay, so their tolerance for his shenanigans is up.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm wondering if you and your husband, this would take a little bit of effort, if you met with each of your sons one-on-one, and for the purpose of listening, and just say, give me your take on the family and our issues and ideas for bringing us back together, and just listen and actually take notes. Right?
Okay.
Give each of your sons a chance to be heard by the two of you. And just say, Dad and I want to hear from everybody. We're kind of compiling some notes because we need to decide how to intervene. And so you meet with each of the four sons. If they have spouses, those can be included too. Whoever is participating. And you gather all that information so that you and it may be stuff you already know, but the act of wanting to hear their opinions and their input on it, I think is important for each of them. They need to feel like they have a voice and that there's some, momentum towards doing something about this issue.
That's such a good idea.
If you can add into that, Anne, a confession on your part and your husband's part, like, boy, we really raised our voices, we got upset, we were name-calling, whatever you can honestly confess to acknowledge you haven't been perfect in handling this situation will probably help open your sons up a bit if you can lay that example before them as you then move into listening to them.
I think that's a great idea.
I think it might be a problem that you try to keep this son at the events as he's getting riled up and as he's beginning to cause destruction, at least emotional destruction. Hopefully through this questioning, you'll glean the information that's missing here of why this problem keeps happening. But I'd want you to consider setting up a different approach with this son to let him know this keeps happening. I want to find out why so I can help. But to be honest, I also have to protect our family holidays. And so you're welcome as you're being kind and respectful to the family. Right. As that starts to change, we might have to ask you to step out. And I would hate to do that. So let's try to figure this out before the next holiday.
Well, I think, when you're meeting with him too, it's you want to hear him and hear his take, but you also want to say to him, we need you to be really honest with us. What's going on in your life? What are we missing here?
Right.
How can we support you? Because obviously you are getting triggered when you're with your brothers, right? And with the family. And so we want to figure out how to ward that off before it happens.
That's right. And we're going to send you a copy of the Restoration Bible, and we're going to pray for restoration in the family. It is a real tricky thing to keep a family together when there are lots of things that are going like ricochet. That's exactly what that experience was. But I think what Jill and Alice offered you is going to be helpful. I think there's going to be somebody else that's going to offer us something really helpful, and that's Larry Sonnenberg, who joins us in the studio.
Hi,
Larry,
Becky.
what do you have for us today?
I hope people think this is helpful. Give money.
Well, it's helpful for...
It is. It's helpful for everybody we talked to today. Yeah.
No, I just, as people consider, a lot of people consider year-end giving. It's an extra gift or it's a one-time gift. But this is the time of the year, these next few days, it's typically it's a real big time for people to be giving. We're hoping it's the same. And as you consider it, instead of reading a testimony to you, I've got one that Terry's going to play for us I'd like you to hear. Let's hear Rachel.
I give to New Life because when I'm listening to the station, I can hear there's so many people hurting, and it's benefiting me just from hearing others call in. You know, it's a safe place to call, and people can trust and get godly direction. And I feel I'm so blessed, and I want to bless others so that New Life can reach many, many more. I mean, me giving and others giving, we can reach so many more hurting souls.
That's what we want to do. We want to help more hurting souls. I just love some of the words she said, that we're safe. You can trust us. You get good direction. You'll be blessed. If you can get behind a ministry that helps people see all that and experience that, please consider New Life as you make your year-end gift. And I really have to say thank you, because people are already giving, and all who are giving can't tell you how much it means to a lot of hurting people that are going to get help that they might not have gotten otherwise. So thank you very much.
Larry, I want to confess to you that I'm actually a fearful miser on my own, left to myself. But New Life has taught me about God's view of charity and the way it unleashes blessings in our life when we give cheerfully and we give freely. And then the psychology behind it is that it actually enhances our happiness. So I might still be miserly and selfish, and I give because I know my family and I will be blessed, and I feel better when I do it.
Well, you know, it's funny, Alice, you say that, because I just learned a new Proverbs the other day, read Proverbs a million times. Proverbs 11:24 says, give freely and become more wealthy, be stingy and lose everything. That pretty much says it right there. I mean, it's amazing that God wants us to be generous givers. And gosh, it makes such a big difference in the lives of so many people that we get to help, and we're grateful.
We've been praying for Alice to come around, so we're glad she finally did.
Double down.
The light.
Double down, folks. I need more. I need more of that help.
Just pray for Alice, please.
Yeah.
Thanks, Larry, and thanks, Rachel, for that wonderful testimony. We are going to come back, and we're going to answer more calls, and we've got another show that we're going to do after this one, so call us at 1-800-229-3000 and make 2021 the best year yet. We've learned a lot this year, but we got more life to live, so we can help you with whatever you're struggling with. We'll be right back.
I feel blessed to have had this opportunity for my needs to be met, connecting with other women who are fighting the same fight, hoping for healthy marriages and growing closer to the Lord on their journey.
My name is Shelly Martinkus, and I want to personally invite you to the Restore Workshop. If you have been affected by betrayal, it might be that your husband has been looking at pornography, it might be an emotional, physical affair. I would love for you to come join us.
I feel encouraged and hopeful that even in my struggle, I am enough.
You will leave with hope, with a community of sisters ready to support you, and you will also leave with tools to move you forward on this journey.
Through the sharing in our small group, I realize that I am not alone.
Please don't hesitate. Pick up the phone, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. I would love to see you there.
The Restore Workshop is being held online Saturday, February 27th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to find out more. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again. You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
Came back with so many
tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Welcome back. We're so glad you're here. We're taking your calls at 1-800-229-3000, and we have some workshops that we're going to do in 2021. If you didn't get to participate this year, maybe 2021 is your year. I think we're going to say 2021 a million times just so we don't say 2020 anymore. I'm teasing. But we've got Every Man's Battle, January 9th. We've got Intimacy and Marriage, February 13th, and Restore is February 27th. They're all online. You can find out about them at newlife.com/intimacy and marriage, newlife.com/Every Man's Battle. And you can find all of it on newlife.com. And we would invite you to call us if you have any questions about that 1-800 New Life.
And if
Go ahead,
you're
Alice.
hesitant about the online version, I just got to participate a couple of weeks ago. It was fantastic. Logistically, it was so easy. And the feedback I'm hearing from people that attend is how much they enjoyed the online version. Give it a try. It's powerful.
And we have scholarship money available if you think that that's going to be the hindrance for you. Just call us. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is where you can
well, and
get more
actually
information.
the online version is less expensive.
A lot
for
less
people
expensive.
too. A lot
Exactly.
less, yeah.
Right. So all the reasons to go. Well, right now we're going to go to Cindy, who's calling us from Nashville, Tennessee, listens on Sirius XM. And Cindy, we're so glad you called. How can we help you today?
Hello. I'll just get right to the question. I have a 20-year-old daughter who suffered with depression in high school and still continues to suffer with depression. Does see a nurse practitioner or a psychiatric nurse practitioner. But my question is, what are realistic expectations of communication with her? She texted us and let us know that she's having her seasonal bout of depression and wouldn't be seeing us over the holidays. And we did manage to get her to do a little video discussion. It wasn't really much of a video, but we had a discussion over the phone about her mental health, and just how she's doing, and told her that we wanted to communicate with her and we would support her, if she needed to do any kind of inpatient treatment or any of that. And she told us about some dental work she was going to need to have done, but she doesn't communicate with us. And my question is, what's realistic to expect as far as communication if we're going to financially support her with her health, her dental health and her mental health and her physical health? We'd like to be kept in the loop as to what kind of progress she's making, that she's helping herself and she's trying to get help.
Cindy, she's 20 years old and she's not living at home, obviously.
No, she has a roommate.
Okay.
Well, she doesn't live at home. She does work part-time.
Okay. I mean,
she doesn't feel she's able. She doesn't feel she's able to work like 40 hours a week. She's not going to school, and she doesn't feel she has the energy to work enough hours to really pay all of her own bills. I mean, she's paying some of them, but we're paying some of them too.
So at 20 years old, I mean, she's and how long has she been out of the house?
About a year.
Okay. I mean, I would still be drawing close, when I hear that she's really depressed. And, 20 is still young to, I mean, people mature at different rates, but to be fully autonomous, and she's not. She's still dependent on you guys. So I would still, I would visit her. I would make times to get together with her. And even though she's telling you she's going to withdraw, but it's not okay to completely withdraw. That's pretty much giving in to the depression. And part of the antidote for depression is we have to do the very things that we don't want to do. And that is we need to, some of the time be with people. We need to force ourselves to get out and do things, right?
So
like when people are depressed, to be able to leave your house every day is important.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have a question too, Cindy, is when she left, what was that event like? Did she leave because she didn't want to live at home anymore? Was it just like the next gradual step of adulthood? Like, what was that like?
He didn't really want to be at home anymore. We raised her in a Christian home, but now she says she's exploring other religions. She said she was happier when she said she's happier when she's not living in the Christian faith. And
so
she's
she's individuating.
Doing all that well? Yeah, she's reading, the God Delusion book. She's looking at all this stuff and looking at her phone a lot, listening to Reddit and all these social media sites. And she does have a boyfriend, though, that has depression and anxiety as well. And she spends a couple of days a week with him at his parents' house. And she says that his parents have been very supportive. But, we've told her that we love her, support her, we would take care of her bills if she needed to do inpatient. But we also told her we didn't think it was healthy for her to withdraw from the family that loves her.
Well, go ahead,
Cindy. I hear you. I hear you considering leveraging because you do provide for her financially, and it is your right to have some expectations because you do financially support her. I would recommend starting with a gentle request of I want to check in with you. I want to check in with you once a week. Would you be willing to do that? And be flexible to compromise. If she says, no, that's way too much. And consider how far you're willing to stretch that. Every other week, once a month, look for an area of compromise with her because it will go best if you can just get her to agree. And hold off on the leveraging depending on how she responds. But I think that it is legitimate to say we're happy to keep supporting you. And these are a couple of the things that we would need for you to be doing for us to be able to support you financially as we are.
I also think...
Yeah, I did say, please, I asked her to check in with us once a week if she would, just so we know how she's doing. But you don't get it. You can't just pop in either because she might not come to the door, and I don't want to just pop in on people. I don't want to be popped in on.
But Cindy, she may need you to be a little bit more proactive because she may not have the emotional and the physical energy to be able to do it. So if I were you, I would set up for you to be the one to reach out perhaps every other time.
Yeah,
she might
and not
be able
put
to do that on her own.
put that on her. And kind of a general rule is we don't do for others what they need to do for themselves, but we do step in when they can't do it for themselves. And people she's telling you she's depressed, okay? And so that means she can't muster the motivation, the initiative to do things.
And one other option, Cindy, is to get in touch with her nurse that treats her because you can ask for advice from the nurse. You can lay out the situation, and that nurse probably knows best what your daughter can handle and how much you can push, how much you should lay back. She may or may not be able to give you the advice, but it's worthwhile to call and ask her for it.
Well, and the other thing is, I'm wondering if your daughter has things, she's individuating. There are things that maybe she's unhappy with her parents. And I'm wondering if you could invite conversation and maybe even with a therapist to talk about, we want to know, daughter, what things have we done that have been hurtful to you? Right?
When you talk about individuation, the hardest part of launching an adult is to maintain that relationship as you
while
go
they're
on.
pushing away.
Exactly, because that's what's how how it happens. But Cindy, I hope that something that Jill and Alice have offered will help you move forward. But depression is a disease that needs attention, and it's hard. But that's why we're here.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.